Hi, everyone. I hope you're doing well. Happy spring and welcome to Aries season. So I want to share a little bit about, of course, what I see going on in the transits, what I've been experiencing as we move through these transits, and also just acknowledge that, I'm not an astrologer. I'm not even a human design expert in terms of studying the transits. I really am just someone who's learning as I go, as always, and sharing what I'm learning. And the transits have been a really valuable way for me to kind of experience the knowledge of human design in real time and also as it affects me personally. So when we look at our human design chart, when you look at your chart, what you're looking at is sort of what makes you unique as this vessel of consciousness, this crystal that is absorbing and emitting light and information in the unique ways that you do. We're all swimming through the same information ocean, but we are all designed to process that information differently. So one way that you can kind of synthesize your human design with the transits is to look at your sun gate. And by looking at the sun gate, that kind of gives you a sense in the chart. It's that gate on the upper right-hand corner of your chart, what the strongest frequency in your chart is and what it is that you're primarily using to filter the information ocean through. So for example, my sun is in the gate 59, which is the gate of sexuality, the gate of intimacy, the gate of sustainability, of bond making and connections. And so often I'm experiencing the transits relative to my relationships and relative to the connections that I have in my life. And even this channel and my opportunity to share with all of you is another example of that. So there's so much going on and, we're right sandwiched between two eclipses. We had a lunar eclipse a few weeks ago that was highlighting this theme of kind of conflict and friction within our relationships. In the highest expression, it's the gate of peace, right? So to get to peace, we often have to move through conflict. So I've been witnessing a lot of relationships either uncoupling or kind of unearthing some unresolved conflict. Of course, as we're also in retrograde season, some of those conflicts may connect to older relationships or stories and dynamics from the past that we have yet to resolve. On the 29th, on Friday, we have a solar eclipse, which is going to be highlighting another theme that's been really active this month, and certainly that's active right now. And so I suppose I'll start by sharing a little bit about that. So we're about midweek through the current Sun-Earth transits. We have the Sun transiting the gate 17, which in traditional human design is called the gate of opinions. It's a mental gate. It's a gate that likes to substantiate evidence and gather information and formulate an opinion. It's part of the scientific process. It's sort of the gate of hypothesis. What do we think is going to happen based on all the evidence of what we see? In quantum human design, it's called the gate of anticipation. So by gathering opinions, gathering information, we can formulate a hypothesis that helps us anticipate what's going to happen next. Currently, we have the whole channel activated. It's the 1762 channel, which is really the channel of preparation. So once we know what it is we're anticipating, we can start to lay the groundwork by preparing the details necessary to reach that intended outcome. And so in the shadow, this can be an energy that's very opinionated, that sometimes anticipates the worst possible outcomes in things, that wants to prepare for the worst, which of course isn't a bad thing. It's important to prepare for, unexpected events. We have a lot of crisis and disruption and unexpected happenings unfolding in the transits for quite a while, emotional energy. But we also have this invitation to perhaps prepare for the unexpected, prepare for the worst, ostensibly, but also to anticipate the best. And so this week, the invitation really has been to not only look at the opinions that you hold about the world, about yourself, about each other, but also to understand the timing of when it's appropriate to share those opinions. This is a gate that we call a projected gate, meaning it's one that needs to be recognized and invited before it shares what it has to offer. And of course, we also use our human design strategy and authority to decipher and determine which invitations to share are actually correct for us. So in a nutshell, the kind of base level suggestion is don't just broadcast your opinions to everybody. It doesn't matter so much that you're right. It matters that our opinions can help prepare the collective for what's to come in a healthy way. And so You might notice, as I have, everyone's got an opinion these days. You look through, social media comments and look online, and everybody has an opinion about what's going to happen based on the evidence, based on the current climate, politically, personally, and so on. So wait to be invited to share your opinions, and also know that if people are sharing unsolicited opinions with you, you have every right to say, I'm not available for that. Or at the very least, to trust in your own authority to determine which opinions are actually correct for you to adopt and which maybe aren't for you. The Earth is anchored in the gate 18, which is a splenic gate. It's an instinct gate. It's a fear gate. It's the gate of correction and the gate of realignment. And so it's a gate that can instinctively recognize what's out of alignment and what needs to be corrected. So you can imagine with the gate 17 and gate 18 in the transits, it's sort of this theme of, in the shadow, a lot of unsolicited opinions and advice. You might either find yourself wanting to give those or be on the receiving end of those. And in the higher expression, it's the ability to spot what's out of alignment, to use your knowledge, your opinions, your valuable insights to help tweak and refine so that ultimately more joy can pour through whatever it is that we're about. The gate of correction points to the gate of joy and vitality. So when our vital energy is sapped, or even I'll use the example of like yoga and fitness. When we're out of alignment or when we're practicing a movement with poor form, we're exercising to increase our vitality, but sometimes we need to invite corrections and refinements in order to optimize the way that energy is moving through us so we can prepare for the results that we are anticipating and expecting. So this is really a week for solutions, for refinement, for fine-tuning, and for kind of getting recalibrated towards the results that we're hoping to experience. Now, all that's happening kind of as part of what we call logical circuitry. It's studying patterns, trends, systems, information, so that we can repeat those results, or we can duplicate those results and build on those results. And while all this is unfolding, we also still have this channel of exploration, crisis, and expansion and disruption unfolding on the emotional side, the more abstract side of the chart. So there's kind of these dual energies of like a lot of old stuff getting disrupted, perhaps this restlessness to step into this new chapter, this new era, the kind of blending of both wanting to prepare for what we're expecting, but also this kind of this recognition that perhaps what we think is going to happen isn't what's going to happen. And so it can put us in this kind of fraught position of like, what do we do? We're ready for a new beginning. We're ready to put in the work. We're cleaning up old stories from the past. And yet it's hard to kind of know which direction to move in because there is so much uncertainty in the air. In retrograde season, it's often encouraged that we don't make really big decisions. Not to say, if your authority says it's correct to make a big decision, you can trust that. But, there's always this theme within the retrograde cycles and certainly in the eclipse cycles of cleaning up stuff from the past, rewriting stories, closing chapters, and getting ourselves prepared for what's to come. So what I would say looking at the transits is that this is a really great time to prepare for the new chapter, to prepare for the new beginning, even though there's a lot of uncertainty around perhaps what that even is and what to expect from that, in our personal life and certainly in the world. But that doesn't mean that we can't take action now to get ourselves ready. So like for me personally, it's become very clear that what I need to do to get ready for this next chapter of my life is like clean my vessel, clean my body. That's look like for me, like I'm doing a juice cleanse next week. I've made some new commitments and choices around some of my vices, vaping, etc. I've been starting my mornings with pranayama and with journaling and meditation. I've downloaded a new fitness app. I've kind of revitalized my workout protocol. And so these are all things that I can do to get myself calibrated and prepared and ready for what I'm anticipating, which is something like I'm not exactly sure what, but like some new beginning. There's some things kind of percolating in the background, and it doesn't feel correct for me to commit to some of those things just yet. But I know that when the new opportunity shows up, I want to make sure that I'm clear, that I'm clean in a sense, and that my authority can respond with the available energy necessary to forge ahead. In addition to all this, we're still in retrograde season, and the gate that's currently being highlighted in both the Venus and Mercury retrogrades and Neptune, so we have three planets conjunct the same energy, is the gate 25, which we had active last week. The gate 25, and I want to say too, if you know the technical terms of like conjunct and gates and centers doesn't resonate with you or is unfamiliar to you, please disregard, right? Like, I'm trying to offer information that can be valuable for everybody. If you have a knowledge of human design, some of this jargon is for you. If not, set it aside, and perhaps we'll do some more educational pieces in the future. So the gate 25 is the gate of spirit. It's the gate of innocence. It's the gate of unconditional love. And what I find, especially when this is in retrograde, it's a gate that really highlights the need for inner child healing or revitalization. You might find, as I found, that like certain desires or characteristics or wishes or fantasies or passions that you had as a kid are starting to make an appearance in your life again, or are starting to kind of show up in your story. Is that true? Do you find that to be true? It's interesting, the combination of energies right now. There's this kind of almost like sexual exploration energy that's showing up that might find you wanting to kind of step into new unexpected experiences, which can bring with it the loss of innocence, right? Or the loss of naivete. This is what it means to grow up. While there's also this strong invitation to revitalize that innocent spirit within you. So it's kind of a beautiful opportunity to kind of take the version of you that you were as a kid, take that spirit of your inner child and carry it into on a new adventure. Now, of course, that means that we have to clear and clean and purge and process all of those ways that we may have been running away from that version of ourselves, or we may have stories that it's unsafe to be that version of ourselves, or perhaps just lingering kind of experiences, victim narratives, traumas, you know, all these things that can sometimes block the light of our spirit pouring through us, you know, based on things we've seen and can't potentially unsee. So we continue to be in this kind of purging, cleaning house process of like doing a hard reset, I would say, of looking at all the ways that we maybe hardened and atrophied certain parts of our spirit in order to arrive at where we are now. And the curriculum is kind of saying that, okay, all of that, everything that it's taken to get you to where you are, worked. Here you are. You're still here. You're here with a lot more experience, with a lot more knowledge, with a lot more skills and abilities. And it's time to let go of that story, reinvite that spirit of playfulness and innocence and kind of wonder back into your life, and start doing the work to prepare for, you know, who it is you need to be to step into the life that you want to live. So I'd say that's really the biggest assignment right now, is to contemplate, to put into action, to put into practice, and to recognize it is a practice of being who it is that you need to be or become to step into the life that you want to live. So that could look like physical things. You know, if you have, like, I got some old bills and debts and things that I need to take care of and clean up because I don't want to have this story anymore that, like, I'm in debt, or that, like, I'm bad with money, or, you know, money don't come to me because, like, it's a mess over here. Like, I need to clean that stuff up, and I am doing in the process of that to kind of set the stage to be available for more resources. You know, next week we move into, in a couple of days, we move into the gate 21, which is the gate of money and resource management and discipline and self-regulation, which we had in retrograde recently. So you might find that all these themes are kind of playing a murky kind of role in your life right now, with some kind of blend of the past, present, and future all spiraling together in this moment. So stay sane, take some deep breaths, know that there is tremendous benefit in the doing the inner work, doing what you can do with your body, with your breath, with the resources you have to, as I said, prepare for what's to come. Even if you don't know what is coming, you know, can you expect the unexpected, i.e., prepare for potentially like the worst, but expect the best and use that expectation to inform the opinions that you share with others when invited, the corrections that you offer to others when invited. It matters less that we're right and more that we can be of service when we're called upon, so that we can align and realign not just ourselves, but the collective for this new world we're stepping into. I mentioned it before, but we're in a new cycle, a completely new cycle. Pluto moved into Aquarius, into the gate 41, which is the start codon of the genetic sequence. It's the first gate in the human design transits. It's actually called gate 41, but it's the first gate in the sequence. And it's all about dreaming up new possibilities. And we watch it happening on a global stage. I'm really excited to see these oligarchy and the oligarchy tour that Bernie Sanders and AOC have been facilitating, because I'm recognizing that as things are getting dismantled and taken away and stripped back, rights, resources, programs, funding, there is this spirit, this fighting spirit that's emerging within the collective that's saying, no, like, we deserve better. And we're going to start to lay the groundwork to prepare for that. Even though there might not be any direct action just yet, there is this fueling of imagination, of possibility, and a desire to pave the way or start to prepare the way for the future that we all want to live in. One that is fair and just and abundant, and that honors the uniqueness and the value of each individual. So that's what I have for you guys today. You're invited, as always, to respond, to comment, to ask questions, and I'll be back next time with something hopefully different, unique, interesting, and valuable. Sending you all lots of love. Be well.